Dear students, today we are going to discuss a very important concept, that is Fermat's principle. The geometrical optics part 2. In geometrical optics part 1, we have discussed the introduction about the geometrical optics and then the laws of refraction and reflection. So, here in this chapter it is a very important or a remarkable the principle in optics, which explains why light propagates along straight line and the law of reflection. It forms the basis of geometrical optics. It is not so much computational device as it is concise why of the thinking about the propagation of light. It is statement about the grand scheme of things without any concern for the contribution of mechanism. The Alexandria was postulated that the reflected light travels from one point to another point along a shortest path. But later, another one of the scientists, de Fermat, in the year of 1657 proposed the principle of least time encompassing both reflection and refraction. So, what is the statement here? The actual path between 2 points taken by a beam of light is one that is traversed in the least time. So, what it means? If the light wants to propagate from one point to another point along the path, that requires the least time as compared to the nearby the paths. So, in the universe or in space, the light is traveling in a straight line, we know that, and if it wants to travel from one point to another point, it has a number of the paths to travel, but in that number of the path, that light is follow that path which is required a least time to reach the target. So, that is given by the Fermi de Fermat, is given in that principle. Now, here Fermat's principle is important principle in optics, which explains the propagation of light, and then through which basis it is going to be explained. The basis is going to be explained, that is a geometrical path or a optical path. The geometrical path between 2 points is actual distance. That actual distance is nothing but the optical path. The optical path is a product of the geometrical path and the refractive index in medium. So, now here that is a delta is equals to n into x or a mu into x. Mu is the refractive index of that medium, and then n x is the that distance or a optical path. So, what happened here? Before the Fermat, it is assumed that the light travels from one point to another point along the shortest path, which can be explained with the help of reflection. So, what they explained here? If the light wants to travel from one point to another point, it follows the shortest path. For example, see here, these are the two possible paths. First path is, I will take this one and then this one. See here, in these two paths, which is having the very shortest distance to travel from this point to this point. So, this is the shortest distance as geometrically, but it does not follow. Why? I want by using the reflection, help of the reflection. So, the one ray is going to be hit here and then reflected back to the this point, and then extended if you extended here, then what you will get here? You will get a coinciding point, and then at this point you will get the image. So, now here also one possible path is there. Okay, if you draw on another one, you can get here another one possible path. Otherwise, if you want to draw another one, you may take here, this is also possible path, but in all these possible path, which is having the very shortest distance or which is having the shortest path, that path it is going to be choose the that ray of light. So, this is the help of reflection. So, later the Fermat was given this theory. He is used that refraction of light. In case of reflection of light, it is clear that light propagates through the shortest path, but in case of the refraction of light, does not follow the shortest path. It does not follow the shortest path. How it is? See here, A point, and then this is a B point. So, see here the dot line is given here. This is the shortest distance from the A to B is there. So, this is the medium 1 and this is the medium 2. So, if the light is traveling from one medium to another medium, in that time what happens? The bending will take place. The light is going to bend towards the normal, otherwise away from the normal. When it is going to be bent, in that time the velocity of the light is also going to be changed. The velocity of the light of this medium is V1, the velocity of the light this medium is a V2. So, if the velocity of the in the air medium, that is the, for example, I will take that is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. In the velocity of light medium and the any medium, water medium, otherwise any medium, in that time the velocity is going to be decreases. So, therefore, the light is going to be bent. So, now see here, from this point to this point the distance is there. So, I will take this is the A to O dash I will take, because O is given here now. A to O dash to B. So, comparably this path, this path and then this path. This path is greater than this path. This path is greater than this path. So, multiply with that velocity, then you will get the greater comparably. So, and then velocity to travel this point to this point, the velocity is the lesser, it means it takes the more time, and then here it takes the very short time. And come to this point to this point. So, what happens? The distance is more here, the speed is also more, and then it is going to be reach a very shorter time, and then the shortest distance here, O to B, and then if you multiply, then you will get the very short time. Okay, then the total time is becomes very shorter time. So, that is why what happens here, this refraction of light is follows the least time, that is only explained by the using of Fermat's principle here. Now, what he suggested in that principle of the shortest path can be replaced the principle of shortest time or least time. Okay. What is the statement? The light travels from one point to another point along that path which requires the least time. Instead of in all the rays, it is follows only that ray which is requires a very least time. Okay, this is the Fermat's principle. So, let us see with the one example here. That is, I will take the suppose this point and this point wants to travel. Suppose the light wants to travel from this point to this point. I will give it the name P here, and this is the Q. So, now we will take the different fan here. Okay. So, it has this path, it can travel in this path. So, I am giving the path only. Okay, it cannot travel like this, the light cannot travel like this. The path is there, the possible path is there, the possible path like this is there, the possible path like this it can follow. Okay, and then another one possible path is there, that is the this path. Okay, that is the path is this is. So, this path is having the distance ds, alright, dl you can write. So, and then the velocity of this medium is a c. It means the medium, only one medium I have taken here, in that medium only the light is traveling from one point to another point. So, light needs the time dt to reach from P to Q, that is a dt is equals to distance dl divided by velocity phi, distance dl divided by velocity phi. And here what happens? The time required to travel, the total distance, time required to travel a total distance pq, that is t is equals to integration over p to q, wants to travel p to q, and dl divided by phi, dl divided by phi. So, therefore, we know that phi is equals to c divided by mu. So, now t is equals to integration over the p to q dl divided by c into mu. So, we know that integration of dl into mu is nothing but the path length. So, here the equation becomes t equals to del divided by c, So, therefore, now the t is directly proportional to the directly proportional to the path length. If the path length is a greater and it takes the time, t is a greater also. If the path length is a shorter, and then time is also very short. But what happens here? It depends on the that path. The time is and also it follows the that path only which is having the very shortest path, and it is going to be reach the very in least time. So, this is the Fermat principle, and then he is given that Fermat's principle, and then what happens here? If you make that time is least, then what happens here? It becomes 0. The time is least, and then also the time is least, and also the another one, that is d delta divided by path is also least, 0. Using these two points, he is explained or derive two derivations. Those derivations are derivation of the law of reflection and then derivation of law of refraction here. So, let us see one by one here. The derivation of the law of reflection by a Fermat's principle. Consider the light ray. Consider the light ray. I will take here 2 points. This is a 1 point. This is a 1 point, and I will take here another point here. Okay, and I will draw one this is the plane mirror. It's a plane mirror. Okay, now here light wants to travel from the point of incident to the reflection here. Okay. Sorry, what we will do here? I will take the straight line. This is the incident ray, and this is the reflected ray. Okay. Now, at the incident point, we will draw one normal. So, this is a normal. So, now here when the incident ray is incident on the plane mirror at the point, and the next it is going to be reflected, that is given by the B. We will take here, this is the A and this is the B. So, the incident angle is creates an angle theta 1, and then reflected angle is also created at theta 2. So, as a consideration, I will take here, this is the total path from A to B, that is the D I will take, and the height of the object is A, and then height of the image is B I will take. From the distance of incident ray to the at the point of incident of the normal, to the point of the normal, that is I will take x for the purpose of deriving the expression. And then this distance is reflected distance is from the point of O to B is, that is d minus x, d minus x. Now, the total path from AO to OB, total path AO to OB. So, the path length is L is equals to AO plus OB. AO plus OB. So, now see here AO plus OB. We know that this is the right angle triangle. Okay. And then now here I know the height of this triangle, and then I know the breadth of this triangle. So, this length of the AO is becomes length of the AO is becomes root under the a square plus x square, a square plus x square plus as same as under root d minus x whole square plus b square plus b square. To make the shortest path, that is dl divided by dx, dl divided by dx. So, now if you differentiated these values, then what you will get? You will get 2x divided by 2 under root of a square plus x square plus then what you will get here? Another one differentiation for this one above equation, that is you will get 2 into dx, sorry, d minus x whole square, congested, I will take this one. Now, this is a plus, and then here we will write 2 d minus x into minus of 1. If you differentiated, you know very well the differentiation. And then here 2 under root of d minus x whole square plus b square plus b square. And we know that dl divided by dx is 0. It means the path length is, if you want to do the path length is a minimum, then the equation becomes dl is equals to dl divided by dx is equals to 0. So, therefore, the equation becomes the 2 get cancelled here, okay, and then the equation becomes x divided by under root of a square plus x square, equals to d minus x divided by under root of d minus x whole square plus b square now. So, now this is the equation. If we want to write a sin theta here, then the perpendicular here, wait, okay. Now, it's not moving, okay, we will see. Then the perpendicular, if you want to write the sin theta here, then this is the perpendicular, and then this is the theta, and this is the hypotenuse here. What is the sin theta? Sin theta 1 equals to here. So, times sin theta 1 equals to hypotenuse opposite divided by hypotenuse. So, what is the opposite? Opposite is nothing but the x here. for this triangle. Opposite is nothing but the x, and then hypotenuse is nothing but the under root of a square plus x square, under root of a square plus x square. Here x divided by x divided by x divided by sin theta 1 equals to x divided by under root of a square plus x square. So, as like as here also for this triangle for this theta 2, the sin theta is becomes here, this is the perpendicular, the sin theta 2 equals to, this is the d minus x divided by under root of d minus x square, sorry, d minus x whole square plus b square. So, now see here, this term is becomes sin theta 1, and then this term becomes a sin theta 2. So, theta 1 is a sin is same, both are same here. Now, theta 1 is a nothing but the incident ray, and then the theta 2 is nothing but a reflected ray. So, therefore, the equation becomes the angle of incidence is equals to the angle of reflection here now, or a I is equals to R. Okay. This is the derivation of law of reflection by Fermat's principle. So, once again, what happens? The plane mirror is there. I have taken the 2 points. One is the incident point, one is a reflected point. So, the incident ray is incident on the plane mirror and then reflected back to the point of B, and then next it creates an incident angle, and then it creates the reflected angle. So, therefore, now the total path is taken as a d, and the next the distance of the incident is given as a x, and distance of the reflected is given as a d minus x. So, therefore, the total path length is nothing but the L is equals to AO plus OB, and then AO is nothing but here, AO is the incident ray, and then OB is the reflected ray. So, therefore, the incident ray is written as in the form of root of a square plus x square, and then the reflected ray is written as in like, that is d minus x under root of d minus x whole square plus p square. So, therefore, to make the path length is minimum, we have to write that is dl upon dx is equals to 0, and then the equation is differentiated, you will get the this value. So, now the x divided by root of a square plus x square is equals to d minus x divided by under root of d minus x whole square plus b square. To write the sin theta 1 is nothing but, this is the one of the triangle, and it is a perpendicular, this is the perpendicular, and the theta 1 is opposite as the perpendicular we have written, and this is the hypotenuse, and therefore, same thing here also we have written theta 2, and then we have written a value of sin theta 1 and sin theta 2, and sin theta 1 and sin theta 2 place here, and then you will get here sin theta 1 is equals to sin theta 2, and then theta 1 theta 2 are the incident angle and then reflected angle. So, therefore, the law of reflection by the Fermat's principle is proved here. So, thank you so much, and the next another one derivation is there, derivation of law of refraction by Fermat's principle we will see in next class.